Okay, we have here a Bowley Rotasera. There's the key. And we'll turn it and then push in, turn some more, and there it's unlocked. And we'll lock it back up. We just repeat, we pull out, turn, and pull the key out. So there are a few steps to picking this lock. I'm going to start by turning the idler all the way, clockwise. I'm going to back off about 90 degrees. And so that, the idler serves as a curtain, but it also moves the the discs. And so they're moved up a bit, but we're going to need them even further. So I'm going to just push the discs along, starting from the front. So there's one, and I'm not really concerned about setting them here as much as I just want to move them closer to their set positions so that I could advance the idler. Okay, so that's moving two up a little bit. And I do want to make sure, I don't care exactly where they wind up, but I want to make sure that they're moving forward. So I'm just going to do that a second time. Yep, I definitely caught one. And we'll just double check two. That seems good. Okay, next up is three. I'm going to want to, the idler kind of moves pretty easily, so in advanced, I'm just moving it back to 90 degrees again to get some more space. So now I'm going to try to get at three. I need to bend down the side of the lock to get it to that. There we go. So that's 3, 4, 5. Let's see if we can get 6. 6. Okay. And again, we'll just double check those. Don't care really where they wind up. I'm not going to overset it. That's pretty good. Okay, now that gets us to the back of the lock. Discs 7 and 8. That requires a different tool. I've got a deep hook here. I'm going to try to slide that in the side so I can get it all the way in the back. All right, that's the beginning of it. Seem to be stuck. There we go. All right. And I managed to do that without retracting the idler more than 90 degrees. So we're still in good shape. Okay, did you hear that? I believe that was the sound of the sidebar falling into the gates of 7 and 8. So I'm going to just pull this back out as gently as possible. And with any luck, those two discs are still set. All right, now we got to be a lot more careful with the idler. I'm just retracting it just a little bit. These things are going to get pretty tight here. If I take it back too far, I want to do my work on 7 and 8. So now I'm starting at the front again with 1. Okay. All right, there's 1. I feel it binding. Okay, 1 movement, click. That's either in a true gate or I overset it. Well, let's hope that that's set. And I'm not going to touch 1 again. I'm going to do the same thing with 2. Maybe a little gentler. Okay, I think 2 is set now. Just going to make sure. Yeah, that feels pretty good. All right, next up is 3. Now I'm going to need a little room for 3. I don't have much, but I'll take what I can get here, just a little bit. Here. Okay. Just marking the side to be a little clearer here. This has to be really precise. Okay, yeah, that's 3 right there, and I'm stuck. Let's see if we can get our way around it. It's really tight. We need a little bit more room. Okay, that's got it. Just enough room to get by. That's 3, that's 4, that's 5, that's 6. Okay, one more time. 3, 4, 5, 6. 3, 6. Okay. Let's see where the idler went. It's probably still okay. Retract it a little bit to be able to get those. Okay, what's left? I didn't feel really good about 3 or 5. So I'm going to go in with a different type of hook here to probe for 3. Okay, there's the side of 3. Okay. Yeah, it really didn't move very far. So I'm going to try to push 3 over a little bit more. Okay. Let's see what that did. I want to say a little bit further. Let's see if that gives us enough room to get to 5. Okay. 5 is definitely not set. It's actually, I think it's stuck in a false gate. Yeah. So the bad news is that 5 is stuck in a false gate. The good news is that it's super tight in that gate, which means that we're pretty far along then with the other discs. So I'm going to go back to 3. Yeah. And I'm going to see if I can catch the edge of 5 this way. Okay, that might have helped. I might have pushed 5 along. I didn't push 3 along, so I'm going to try this other pick to see if that helps. Okay, that's some movement on 3. Yeah, okay. Nice. 3 and 5 are much further along now. Maybe I can try the set 5 now. Maybe we'll get that false gate. Let's see. Okay, there it is. Okay, I felt that. I think we're in business. Let's see, where did that leave? 3? Definitely not set, but close. Okay. Uh, 3 is now set, I think. But unfortunately... Oh no. There we go. The lock is picked. Requires a bit of force because you know, when you pick the lock, that sidebar drops in, but then you still obviously need to rotate the core to get it open. Anyways, we're open now. Let's see, I think before I got this, one thing that would be cool to show, because this lock is just so unusual, it's got some neat features to it. But one thing is to lock it back up is, well, I mean, I could take it apart and lock it back up, but you see this core just spins. I guess due to the body, it won't go more than 90 degrees. But to actually get it back in the locked position, requires some work. Now let's see if we can do that. The technique I have here is, because the first disc is so easy to grab, like I'll just grab that here and I'll see if I can just forcibly overset it. No. Thing is, it has to be lined up exactly. Like right there. Then I have to grab it a really solid way while it's still lined up. Nope, still didn't do it. All right, I'll try a few more times, and if not, we can just go on and gut this normally. It would be cool to show this in one take. Okay, you see, I overset the first disc, and now the core won't move anymore. For good measure, I'm going to overset the second disc too. And so this is gradually pushing the sidebar out from the front. Okay. And then what I find is usually, I think I got it right. Yeah. Usually those first two discs are enough that then we can go to the idler. We can start putting some tension on that. And then I can use a pick to push. There's a little prong from the sidebar that goes down. I can use a little pick here to push that up and then turn it the rest of the way. Not much space to work in here. I think I heard it though. Yeah, here we go. All right. Now the idler's back in the original position. And so for good measure, you can see the key work. Okay, so we're back to normal. Anyways, that was fun. Let's cut this lock. Okay, so make some room here. Take focus on lock off, zoom out a little. Okay. And let's see, we'll put this lock down. Zoom out. And here. Stand I can put this camera on. Fix my lighting a little. Get a gutting tray going. All right. A little shadow there. What's causing that? Oh, yeah, that's probably better. I'll turn the spotlights on if I need them. Okay, so let's see. To cut this lock, we'll first take the screw out. So what's cool about the lock design is that it's a cylinder, but you can put it in any lock body. So this is just an ABIS body. And then here's the Rotasera cylinder. Okay, so there's nothing really interesting going on with the lock body. And you can see it's a cylinder here, and there's just an adapter to be able to put it in that padlock, but you can use it in other formats. So that's pretty cool. This cap, however, is not cool. It's not my favorite part at all. But we're just going to take this, depress this pin. It seems to be a non-standard cap, so not too bad though. You just push it down with a tool. And then there's the cap. Little pin here, retaining pin. There's going to be a spring in there. Well, here's the actuator piece. Spring. Okay. All right, and now the interesting part, of course, is here. We're going to use a follower. Pull the core out. We'll look at those later. Okay, so this is the cylinder. And I'll just take the sidebar out first. Okay, very simple sidebar, but you see that's the little notch that drops down that I was pushing up towards the end to be able to lock the lock back up again. And here you can see all of the discs there actually, and I guess I could use the key and you can see them all lined up. And I think the best way to take this part is to rest it like that. And let's see if I can't poke this piece out. Yeah, there's a little bar in there. That holds this tail piece in. Okay. And then there's a spring action there, you can see. You can see how little room there is to work with inside that one. Let me see if I can get the spotlights on now. See if that helps. Not really. Yeah, we're going to have to take it further apart to really see the detail there. All right, well, let me pull this pusher out. I'll give us a little bit more room. Okay, so this is what makes things difficult to reach. There's this piece here and it's spring loaded. There's the spring. Okay, and then we have the discs in here. I wonder, can I just, yeah, let's just do this. I guess that doesn't work too well. I thought I could just drop them all down. Maybe if I give them a little push. I fear I'm going to lose the order if I do that. Yeah. All right, one at a time from the back. So this is what a disc looks like. And this is looking at it from the back. You can see there's here. This is looking at it from the back. Come on, focus. You can see there's a true gate there on top. And there are false gates all around. Okay, so that's number 8. So 1, 2, 3, 4. We'll drop that in here. All right, then there's spacers in there. So we'll just fish those out along the way. Oh, that's the way to do it. I see. This piece kind of comes out. And I can get the whole stack. That would be cool. The whole thing just doesn't want to come out. Maybe if I push from the front. All right, I just felt something really give way there. Nice, okay. That's gonna be easier. So this is just an empty shell now. And this is from the front. We've got a spacer. And then, but it doesn't come off from the front, so we'll have to unload from the back. That's fine. So I'll just lay them out. There's 7, and then we'll do a close-up. How about that? 7. Six, 5. Okay, so this is the disc in the center. That's not to be picked, but that actually what allows that little notch in the sidebar to drop down. And it's still surrounded by spacers though. And then we have 4. 3. 2. And last but not least, 1. All right, and you can see this is the idler. So it functions as both a curtain, and it will grab these discs and move them around. All right, and now I have in here, there are going to be some ball bearings from the front. Actually, let's unload them from the back. That'll be easier. Okay, so there's 1. There's 2. There's 3. And then there are just 3 springs. There they are. Then there's nothing really to this. That's those 3 ball bearings. All right. And so that is the Rotasera. Let me just, before I forget, do a close-up on all the pieces here so you can I zoom in? Come on. Here we go. So you can see solid false gates on all of these. And I guess the only other thing worth mentioning is the tools. And a lot of the tools that I used are stock tools. But to reach down the sides, because there's very little room, I went with, where's an example? This one. I went with 12 thousandths of an inch. So that's obviously very thin for a lockpick. And you can see it kind of bent along the shape that I needed to use just through use. But they held up really well. And the only custom pick I made was this one. I needed a deep version in 12 thousandth. But because of the bitting was pretty nasty here. I had towards the end I had a min lift followed by a really high lift, and just a standard deep hook profile has too gradual a curve here. So this is, I literally took Yabendi's Kaba pick profile and just made a 12 thousandths of an inch thin version of it. Worked really well. All right, there you have it, the Bowley Rotasera.